Good morning. My name's Barry Midkiff. I chair the Greens Committee here at Woodland, and we're coming to you this morning with your Woodland Weekly Between Two Greens. This morning we're right smack dab in the middle of number 5 fairway. It's a beautiful September morning, and I'm here with our outstanding superintendent, David Reedman. And one of the things we wanted to talk about today, we're actually between a wet spot and a dry spot on number 5 fairway. And we've been getting some questions, the Green Committee has, David has, around, hey, we've had very little rain in the month of September. I think David told me 3/10 of an inch. So with very little rain in the month of September, why are the fairways so wet when I come out to play? So David, I think that's what is on a lot of people's minds.
Okay.
What's the reason for that?
Well, irrigation systems are primarily supplemental water for a golf course. When you have to rely solely on the irrigation system to do the watering on a golf course, there's going to be areas that are wetter and drier on an area, especially with undulations. The low spots are going to be a little wetter, a little bit softer, and the high spots are going to be harder and a lot drier. So when we water with a 140-foot diameter sprinkler, it waters a large area, and it waters a low spot and a high spot at the same time. So we try to set the times where we won't overwater the wet spot, but give the high spot, the dry spot, enough water to survive. We use a lot of different products. They're called surfactants that make the water wetter, actually make the water infiltrate the high spots and infiltrate in the low spots, so it kind of makes the high spots wetter and the low spots drier. We also use a tool in the pump house called an electrostatic precipitator that actually makes the water wetter as well. So with those things, it's still difficult to water an undulated fairway or parts of a golf course where you have severe high spots and low spots, because gravity will take the water off of the hill and run down to the bottom and into the low area or towards the drain.
Okay, so what I'm hearing then is that we don't have the ability to just water the high spots. We also have to water the low spots, given some of the limitations of the equipment that we have here at the golf course.
Yes, we could use to go to what's called a single head control, where every sprinkler head was an individual station. Right now we have 2 stations wired together. We've tried to wire them where we're watering high spots with these 2 and low spots with these 2, but that's not always possible to wire it to where one head won't water a high spot, or one station won't water a high spot and a low spot together. So with individual head control, we could water the high spots heads longer and the low spot heads less.
Okay. Well, I think you and your team, David, this summer have done an outstanding job with all the increased level of play that we've seen here at Woodland. I think we're about 40% more rounds this year than we had last year. So the course has really held up well, I think, under the conditions that we've had to play with this year. And one of the things I've noticed is that there are some areas that are roped off in the fairways that are some of those dry spots. What can we as members do to try to take extra care of those areas so that we don't create any further damage with golf carts?
Well, a lot of times I'll have members, they'll see us out watering, and hose watering is a big key to maintaining firm fairways throughout the fairway. The ability to go out with guys and hoses just to water isolated areas is very important. This year we have a limited staff. We haven't been able to get out as much as we would like with hoses just because we have so few people to get that done. Any area that you see that is dry, it's turning brown, you want to try to avoid driving through that with your cart. If it's stressing really badly throughout the day, and I'm sure everyone's seen them, purple tire tracks from the golf cart will be going through that dry spot. Actually having carts on dry fairways when they get that dry is worse than having them drive through a wet area. But if you can avoid low areas, especially after a rainstorm, and obviously avoid the areas that we rope off because they're so dry that they can't stand to have any more traffic.
Okay, that's good. So we need to be cognizant of not only the wet spots when we drive through them, but the dry spots as well. So that's very helpful. So thank you very much, David, for coming out, spending some time
Sure.
with us this morning, and helping us better understand some of the things that we're seeing on the golf course.